Oh man. Kanye West. Lauryn Hill. This shit is crazy.
Yo.
What's good, man?
Hey, man, I can tell you what's good. I am feeling like it's all falling down.
All falling down. What you mean by that?
I'm feeling like this, like everything I said, man, this can't be like what the season is. I feel like it's all falling down. Like, what are we doing now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm late in the game. It's way too late to feel this, but when you said this can't be, I was like, damn, that's the song right there. This can't be life. This can't be love.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like that. I mean, it's all relative. All of this stuff goes with it, though. It is all falling down. Like, whatever you thought about the NFL and how things are supposed to go, you're wrong. Okay, it just is. I dare somebody to come up and be like, "Oh yeah, I had this." No, you didn't. You a liar.
Yeah.
Show me the ticket. Show me your parlay ticket.
Yeah, whatever you thought this season is, it ain't that. Man.
It ain't that. It's absolutely not that. You know what I'm saying? No, you're not. Yeah. So, but I will say that it makes for an exciting season. I'm excited. I'm not gonna say excited. How about this? Entertained. I am entertained by this season, Mark. Thoroughly entertained. So,
I would like to see some teams though, in some sort of normalcy, I guess. Like do something that I'm normally expecting. You know what I mean?
What team would fit that bill?
Well, like the Chiefs for one. Like, I mean, they're 4-0, but Patrick Mahomes looks the worst he ever has, and I don't find that I don't like that. I want the Chiefs to look like the Chiefs when they play.
Well, I'll say this: forget about just Patrick Mahomes not looking right. Yeah. When was the last time you seen the Andy Reid offense that pedestrian?
Yeah, like,
I don't care who the quarterback's been. Like, you've never seen it.
Yeah, like I don't want to look at that. I don't want to see. I honestly, I don't want to see Miami looking the way they do right now. I don't want to. It's a lot of nastiness out there. But we're going to get into it, guys. Thank you for falling in. You guys are all falling in. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys joining. Link, like, subscribe, share it to your friends. Let them know that you're here. Let them know that you're repping. Yeah, man. Like I said, we got a packed episode for you guys today. We're going to get into the NFL season so far because we are in week 4. And so that means we're a quarter way done. We got some more to get into, but we're a quarter way there. And then, I can't. It's funny. I can't even deny you right now that it.
Hey, this is what I'll tell you. You have the best quarterback play in the division for sure. So I mean, I don't know about all the rest of the parts, but it don't matter when you get them done, right? It don't matter when you get them. So shout out to the Washington Commanders.
But yeah, we're going to talk about some potential NFL trades, and we're going to talk about the Caitlin Clark effect and what that looks like now, currently. We're going to talk about some player movement in the NBA ahead of the season, and then we also going to get into some way too early predictions for the NBA, and we also have an over/under bet for the NBA at the end that I think you guys will enjoy. So, yeah, man, stick around. We got a packed episode. So, with that being said, man, let's just go ahead and get into what we here for. What do you say, sir?
I'm ready, man. Let's talk it. Let's talk football. That's what we do, man.
All right, man. So, like I said, quarter way done. Here we are. Football. Week 4, how'd you do, man? We do a weekly pick 'em between you and I. How'd you do in your weekly pick 'em?
Well, I felt like I did terrible, Mark. I'm saying I felt like. I noticed that I was doing terrible. I didn't even have to check the games to really notice. But I know I didn't do great. It didn't do as good as I wanted to. I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a little thing on the side that tells you.
Yeah, 8. I went 8 and 8.
Okay, 8 and 8.
Well,
Okay,
that's 8 wrong. You know what I'm saying? Split down the middle.
Hey man, that's better than me. I went 6 and 10. I'm like, this season so far, I'm not doing great. I am currently 2 games over 50% over as far as all the games on the season. I went 6 and 10. A lot of wild stuff happened this week. I mean, these games were close. A lot of them shouldn't have been. Like, for instance, I don't know what's going on with the Jets, but Denver shouldn't have been able to be in that game at all. And the fact that they only scored 10 points, but the Jets only scored 9, wildness. It's madness, especially seeing how the Jets looked in the last 2 games, more like they were figuring it out. And now, against one of the lowest of the low teams, you decided, we're not there yet, and you decided to lose that game.
Mark, do you know what the stats were for Bo Nix?
Yeah, like he had 66 yards.
And he threw for, I think, either 65 or 66 yards, and Cam Sutton had 60 of those yards on 3 catches. That's insanity. That's what you lost to. Like, I'm not gonna say insanity. It's unacceptable, Mark. It's unacceptable, bro. Like, you know, how far are we going into this, man, bro? I'm gonna save it for the next topic.
No, I mean, go ahead. I mean, we're here. Like, let this be our first game that we talk about.
Let's talk about it, man. Like,
I mean, I don't want to stay here too long because it is Denver.
Yeah, we're not going to stay here too long. But I just want to point out a few things, man.
I said the Knicks. I meant Jets.
I see Jay says Denver's defense is nice, Jets online trash. It's deeper than that, my boy. You know what? You know why it's deeper than that? Because they chose not to do anything about the O-line before they brought Aaron Rodgers over. They saw the O-line was trash for the past 2 seasons with Zach Wilson. The shit was trash when Sam Darnold was there. Their O-line been trash for a long time. They didn't address it, okay? They drafted a bunch of guys this year. That's not going to manifest immediately, right? That's the problem I'm having with this shit. And then you have Aaron Rodgers. Just being Aaron Rodgers, Mark. You seen the clip. Mm-hmm. You know, first off, we all seen the clip from the week before. Hey, it's too early. Him shoving Robert Saleh away from him, talking about it's too early, and just looking absolutely disgusted that Robert Saleh tried to give him a hug after a great play. Like, he was disgusted with Robert Saleh, right? And then now you're looking at this week after the game. Robert Saleh said something about the cadence because they had 5 offensive false starts. They had 5 false starts, and immediately Aaron Rodgers looks absolutely disgusted again, and he's essentially throwing daggers in the post game conference at his coach, man. Like, everything is just going crazy.
Yeah, he was like, the false starts. It's like, I mean, we had one. He was like, I would think this game was an outlier. Like, he literally shot down everything that Robert Saleh said. He was like, well, Robert Saleh said that the false starts is a problem and blah 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 blah. He was like, man, he's like, I think we had 1 false start up until this point, and so today we had 5. He was like, I feel as though that's an outlier, and moved on.
And he mentioned before he even said all that, he said, I think that's more of a lack of accountability problem. I was like, and who was that on? If you talk about accountability, that's on the coach. Like, he really is throwing Robert Saleh under the bus, man, at every turn. And although it seems crazy, like I said, it's unacceptable for you to lose to that team. You know what else is unacceptable, Mark? It's unacceptable for Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, first ballot, because you know where he's going, first ballot Hall of Famer, to come out there in a press conference at 40 years old and throw his fucking head coach under the bus.
Yeah. Well, here's the more interesting thing for me, because he says accountability problem, right? Well, Aaron Rodgers, to me, it looks like you have a bit of an accountability problem for yourself, because part of the issue that was happening in this game was there was a disconnect between what you wanted to see happen and what your receivers thought they should be doing. Well, guess what? We watched a lot of Julian Edelman's podcast and him talking about him working with Tom Brady in the off seasons, him working with working on their routes, working on their timing in the off season, doing all this stuff, right? So they're on the same page. You, sir, take time off of training camp. You don't show up to training camp. You're on a whole new team, and in this particular game, Garrett Wilson does one thing, and you're expecting him to do another on this route. You want to know how y'all would have been on the same page? If you was at training camp more often. If you actually invested into your receivers in the offseason. These are things that you, sir, could have had. This is something you could have avoided. So when it comes to the accountability and you're looking at your receivers all dumbfounded and like they're idiots for not knowing what you want them to do, you can always go back to the fact that you weren't around to make sure that they understood the assignment in certain situations.
Yeah. So, yes. And excuse me. Sorry. What I was going to bring it up is this, Mark. Garrett Wilson. You get mad at Garrett Wilson, right? Because I guess he's supposed to know these things. What year is Garrett Wilson in? This is year 3. You have a rookie, a guy on a rookie contract. He still got a whole other year before he even gets offered another contract. He hasn't played one full. He just had his first full game with you week 1 of this year. And like you said, you wasn't at camp, you wasn't at preseason, and you got a young wide receiver who's had nothing but bad quarterbacks before you. I don't know what you expect him to know. He has a defensive head coach. How is he supposed to know where he's supposed to be, Mark?
No, but even in here's the thing, very quickly, and we're going to move on. But even in that situation, a different quarterback may want him to do exactly what he did.
Yeah,
a different quarterback may want him to do exactly what he did. You have to understand what it looks like for the quarterback that you're working with, and that is only one way to do that, and that's to be working together. And if you're not around to do that, it is what it is.
Yeah, maybe you would have known how he would have read that.
Yeah,
had you even known him at all by going to camp. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, shame on you, Aaron Rodgers. Shame on those in the mainstream media that are like, you know what, I kind of agree with him. No, you can agree with what he said by saying, hey, I'm not going to change my cadence. I agree with that.
Yeah,
you can agree with him saying it's an accountability problem. I agree. The things that he's saying are facts, but I'm not trying to hear that from him at a press conference simultaneously as he's throwing the coach on the bus after he didn't attend camp in preseason.
Yeah,
it's just very simple, man.
What game do you want to get into next?
Which what?
What's next? What game do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about something that's fresh on the mind, man. We can briefly talk about the Lions. No, let's not talk about Lions Seahawks. Let's talk about that Dolphins game, man. I know that's on your mind, Mark. Let's talk about that Dolphins game.
Man. All right, let's get into it. All right. Dolphins take an L on Monday night. Dolphins lose to Tennessee 31-12. This is one of the games that I got wrong. I got this wrong because obviously Tennessee sucks, in my opinion. Miami's defense, I thought, was better than this. And then I also thought that Mike McDaniel could do better, a better coaching job with Huntley under the helm than Skylar Thompson. All of those things I was incorrect about. All of them. Huntley, he put Huntley out there, and it was like he only ran run plays. It was like he was afraid to do anything in the passing game, truly. And then there was a disconnect between Huntley and Tyreek Hill. I guess, well, not really. Tyreek Hill just couldn't track the ball, really. And I want to talk about that, man. This is a side note, and I want you to think about it, Sean, and I want you guys to think about it also. So here's a little something that's a bit of homework, and we're going to get into it after we talk about this. But this is something I noticed. All the current playing players that have a podcast, they are butt this season.
Hey, man. I'm not going to hold you. The one person that I'm absolutely excited about the fact that he's been playing like ass and looking confused on defense is Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Micah Parsons is butt right now. Tyreek Hill is butt right now. Travis Kelce is butt right now. I want you guys to think about that. Think about other guys that y'all see on podcasts or running a podcast, and think about how they're doing this season in the NFL. I'm not sure if there's really any correlation, but I do find it interesting that is something I noticed.
Hey, what Joe Budden said? A 2-pack of ass? Yeah. That's what. Hey, let's call it what it is.
2-pack of ass.
2-pack of ass. But
you just put it in.
Thanks. You know what I'm saying?
He just puts it in. But
anyway. Says Slay being on Parsons' podcast is so disgusting. Yo, I don't know if my mic cut up. Yo, how do you do that? How do you do that as a current Eagles player going on a podcast with Michael Parsons?
Hey, man, we'll get into that. I don't want
to. You got some. That's right. I forgot you got a whole dissertation.
We'll get into that. I don't want to get too distracted from this Tennessee Miami thing, bro. Because the fact that Tennessee put up 31 points against Miami. 31. What was the defense doing? Now, I understand that the offense gave Tennessee plenty of opportunities to be out there because they couldn't extend any drive whatsoever. But come the hell on, man. The breakdown was absolutely ridiculous. And at what point do we as fans start looking at Mike McDaniel and saying, hey, man, it's time to hold you accountable? I don't even think Tua is a great quarterback, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am incorrect about Tua and his ability because Mike McDaniel is 1-6 when Tua's not there. And here's the question: here's a question for you, Sean. Is Mike McDaniel 1-6 when Tua's not there because of Tua not being there and Tua playing so well? Or does his play calling change so drastically that it's absolutely trash?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's a combination of both, Mark. I think Tua needs Mike McDaniel just as bad as Mike McDaniel needs Tua, man. Look, there's a specific type of quarterback that you need when you're running this Kyle Shanahan-esque type of system. All you need is a quarterback that can do the 3-step drop, get the ball out early, and be able to make a quick one read. None of these are multiple read plays, Mark. This is, you make one read. Either it's there or it's not. If it's not there, then this is the person you throw to. It's a very simplistic offense. All you need them to do is be able to make one read quickly and get the ball out. And Tua is very capable of doing that. Tua's issues, me and Mark, Tua's issues come more so when he's trying to throw downfield. You see all the short balls that he's thrown to Tyreek Hill over the years, man. Mm-hmm. Tua just happens to be the perfect quarterback for what Mike McDaniel's trying to do. And it's almost as if, hey, if you put a quarterback in there that can't do that one specific thing well, he can't figure out what plays to call, Mark. It just seems like it's like I said, it's a combination of both. He needs Tua, and Tua needs him.
Okay, interesting. All right, I hear you. Well, so this is a fantasy question.
Yeah.
What do you think? Players that have Miami players or fantasy coaches that have Miami players, what do you think they should do going forward?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's time to unload the truck, man. It's time to unload it. You don't know what's going to happen from here on out. It doesn't look like Huntley's the answer. Skylar Thompson is absolutely not the answer. Mike McDaniel seems like he can't coach his way out of a paper bag now. So with that said, Mark, the only viable fantasy person on this team to me right now is Achane, but you don't know if they're getting, if teams say we're gonna focus in on dial in on that because we don't believe that we don't even believe that you'll call the plays to actually throw the ball around. Then what? Then Achane is not viable either. So I personally just think you need to unload the truck. If I had Achane right now, if you can sell him. You know what I'm saying? Get something in return for him now before the wheels fall off of this thing, man.
Rob, just to let you know, both players you named are currently on a team.
Hey, you think Flacco going anywhere now? After this week's performance? Flacco ain't going nowhere, bro. But going nowhere. And you think Jameis Winston is going anywhere with the way that the Deshaun Watson been playing? Ain't no way, man. Ain't no way. And Deshaun Watson been taking too many hits. They are not getting rid of Jameis Winston. Shut that down. Yeah, you really need to be Achane's gonna get hurt. Achane's always hurt.
Now I do want to ask this about Mike McDaniel. Why does he seem so disinterested in anything that's going on in the game?
What you say?
Why does he seem so disinterested in anything that's going on?
Hey, look, man. All I'm saying is, he seems very relaxed sometimes, and sometimes his responses seem a little out there, and then other times he looks like his eyes are glazed over when he's on the sideline, Mark. Now, I'm 1,000% sure that everybody would agree with me that man smokes weed heavily. Now, is there a chance that he could be doing something other than weed? I don't know, Mark, but I think the chances are somewhere above zero. Probably a little bit above 50%, it's like a 50-50 shot. He could be doing something else. Look, man, it wouldn't be the first time a Miami Dolphins coach was doing something that they had no business doing. They had a coach doing coke, in the bathrooms, like leaving the team meetings to go to the bathroom to do coke and then coming right back in the TV.
Hey, man.
It wouldn't be the first time, and it is Miami, Mark.
It's called Miami Vice for a reason.
Look, that's all I'm saying is, would it be the strangest thing, Mark, if tomorrow they're like breaking news, Mike McDaniel suspended by the Miami Dolphins, for violating the team drug policy. If that were to happen, Mark, tomorrow, how shocked, how surprised on a scale of 1 to 10 would you?
-3.
I'm just saying, look, now I can't prove anything, Mark. All I'm saying is it went from him just being a laid back dude till you watch the games this year. Like I said, it looks like his eyes are glazed over. He has no reaction to anything. Okay, maybe he's not doing hard drugs. Maybe it's just Adderall. Maybe, I don't know. But I think he's popping pills, Martin. I'm gonna put it that way. I'm not
it really needs that. Like, listen, that part of it needs to be investigated a little bit because there's no reaction to anything that happens. Like when Tua got hurt, you just saw him do this with his teeth, like it looked like, and that was like a drug thing. Like it was like,
hey man, when old buddy's arms start moving like a fiddler crab, I need more of a reaction than that. Yeah. Like, especially after you've seen it before 2 years ago, you have to have more of a reaction than that, man. But I feel like I've seen enough to where if this was a company that I was in charge of, I would have sent somebody officially or unofficially to go look for him.
Hey man, so we have an expert here in the comments. Our expert in the comments says he smoked, but sweat comes from powder. Use that he uses both to balance out.
No, that's how I know is wild. Hey, look, ain't nobody asking no questions over here, Mo.
Can you I'm gonna move on. But bro be wearing hoodies in Miami. Like, what's happening, man?
Look, have you seen the way his attire changed? Hey man, that man got his hair's fresh, he got the shades on. I don't think he focused on football, my boy.
All right, here's a real question, though, or a real statement, rather. Yeah. Jay says them not having a backup is not Mike's fault. Is it not? Who else's fault would it be? Mike is the one who said, yeah, man, let's keep moving forward with Skylar Thompson. And then also Mike went and got Snoop.
Look how long it took for them to sign Tyler Huntley.
Now, and the problem is because I look at it and I'm like, dog, I know. Like, yeah, you're right. They should have known to get that. But do you not think that Mike McDaniel has some say in that? Like, he don't have a say in who his backup is?
Yo, real quick, this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna make it very clear. The onus is on both the GM and the coach. The way that things work these days is if you're a coach and you don't have GM powers, you are working hand in hand with the GM on every decision. How do you think they got Tyreek Hill? Why do you think that he was there? Granted, Mike McDaniel just got hired in that offseason when they got him. But think about this. How did Achane end up on the team? A straight line speed running back.
All right.
Come on, man. Like, he's picking these players, man. He could have easily walked in the office and say, hey, man, I'm concerned about Tua's health. Everybody should be concerned about Tua's health.
I don't want to cut you off too much, but we got a lot to get into.
All right, my bad. But yes, it's both fault. We'll leave it at that, man.
All right, next up, what other games do you feel was really important? Oh, you know what? I'll tell you. Let's go into Chicago, man. I want to talk about Chicago. And the reason why I want to talk about Chicago is because for the first game, you saw the glimpses of Caleb Williams and what people were wanting out of him. I'm not going to say what we were expecting, but what some other people were expecting. We seen those glimpses for the first time in this game. Caleb Williams. Well, first of all, let me give you the score from this game on Sunday. The final score was 24-18.
Yeah.
Chicago was the home team, and they defeated the Rams to a score of 24-18. Caleb Williams, 17 for 23, 157 yards, passing, and 1 touchdown. He also had 5 rushes for 12 yards. But yeah, so in this game, like I said, this is better because he actually got a passing touchdown in this game. Limited the sacks a little bit. But I guess the question is, really, how much of this was Caleb Williams and the Bears figuring it out, and getting a little bit better week by week. And how much of it was, well, it is the ambulance Rams.
Yeah, I say it's 50-50, man. Or well, I'm not gonna say 50-50. I'll put it like this. I'll say 50-50, and here's why. The Rams defense being completely depleted because most of the Rams injuries are on defense. Their secondary was already ass, and then they have secondary injuries. So they, and just to be very clear, they were already I think they were either worst or bottom 3 secondary in the league before they had the injuries. So now you're probably saying they're the worst secondary in the NFL. Okay, so that helps. And I'm saying 50-50 because yes, they did figure some stuff out. But you know what helps figuring stuff out is when you have time to throw. All right, because there ain't nothing on the defensive line coming at you. You know what helps is when you get the run game going because the defensive line is injured on the other side. Like everything that was wrong with the Rams contributed to the Bears actually having the offensive line play that they need to figure things out. You don't figure nothing out, Mark, if your offensive line is getting shredded every game in the run game and in the pass game. So I don't feel like the Bears have had a chance to really figure things out until this game. But what they show me is that you get some things going the way they're supposed to be, right? To where it's giving you a chance to figure things out, and they did. Now, the problem is, Mark, here, you're not going to get that offensive line play that you got in that Rams game versus anybody else in the league. So the real test, Mark, will be next week, whatever game they play in next week, to see if they're actually capable of putting together something. But I'll be honest with you, 24 points against the Rams right now in the state that they are, it's good enough for me to say that they made progress.
All right, well, next week they go up against the Carolina Panthers, so they do face another soft defense. Now,
I still want to see that progress.
Yeah, like they won't have fudge. Jesus Christ. Ooh, Bears has a soft schedule moving forward. They don't play a real defense until Green Bay. Well, no, I guess you could kind of call the Patriots a real defense, but
Patriots defense needs to be up and down this year.
Yeah.
Well, their secondary, he will at least face a real secondary. The problem with the Patriots is they don't have a pass rush. It's always the problem with the Patriots these days. So he will have time. Now, if he shows me something during the Patriots games where it's like you're not under duress from the pass rush, but you are going against an elite defensive back in Christian Gonzalez and then Jones as well. If you show me that you can thread the needle against those guys or find a way to get the ball thrown against those guys with time, I'm still taking that as a win in progress. So,
well, that's 4 games from now because right now they have just to let you guys know, they have the Panthers up next. After that, they have Jacksonville. Then they have a bye week, and then after that, they have the Washington Commanders, and then the Cardinals. Like they have 4 straight games of terrible defense. Like now, like the Commanders are doing well right now, but that is off the strength of their offense. Their defense is trash. Like their defense gives up points. Their offense is just able to overcome by scoring points on their own. So they don't play anything halfway decent until New England, and then from there, the next 3 games is New England, Green Bay, and Minnesota. Then Detroit and San Francisco. So they got 4 straight games of soft defenses. Then they play tough defenses.
Yeah, he cooked after the soft. Whatever they need to figure out, Mark, they need to figure it out now on this part of the schedule.
Yeah. All right. In Gene's Fitness says, if Andy Dalton is still QB for Carolina this week against Bears will fall. Hey, man, that's very well maybe a possibility, but the thing is, Bears have a defense.
Thank you.
Bears has a defense. Carolina does not.
The Bears defense is why I think they have a chance to win this game. I don't think it's as simple as it was any dog start. That Bears defense is legit.
Yeah. And I also want to point out something that Jay said a little bit earlier, just talking about the ambulance Rams. He said the cost of the Super Bowl. Okay. The cost of the Super Bowl for the Rams, they have no depth. They traded their picks away to get that chip, and this is the result. Yeah. Like, I mean, hey, but they got the result. They got what they were looking for.
Still worth it.
Yeah, every single time
it's still worth
sold out and won out. They sold out and won out. So
yeah.
And if you can do that, that's all you really can ask for, right?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. What's another big game that you want to get into?
There's only one more big game that I want to get into before we talk about the Eagles. So I'm going to bring it up. Ravens Bills was definitely a statement game, Mark. Let's be honest, man. A lot of people had the Bills winning this game before the game started. I'm one of those people. Mark said he's one of those people. You know, the Ravens have looked inconsistent. The Ravens have looked like they didn't know what their identity was. They're still trying to figure it out going into this game. And they win 35-10 convincingly. Never had a doubt after the first quarter that the Ravens were going to win this game. They dominated on both sides of the ball. It's weird, man. It's almost as if once the offense started playing better, the defense started playing better, Mark. And with that said, I think this is a big game because, I mean, Josh Allen seemed to have been the most impactful quarterback for his team leading up to this game. There was question marks about the Ravens offense in general and whether or not bringing Henry in there was even the right move because of the way they've been using him and he's been ineffective. And what I saw in that game was the Ravens may have found their identity, or at least I hope so, because if this is the way they play, Mark, if their game script goes like this, the way it did this game, they might lose one, maybe two games for the rest of the season.
Okay. Well, I have the same but a different outlook on it. Like, kind of the same take, but a different outlook on it. Because the questions wasn't for me about whether or not Henry was the right move. The questions for me was of whether or not John Harbaugh was still qualified to fill this position as a head coach. Because John Harbaugh, after game one, made a statement saying that we did not bring Derrick Henry here to run the ball 25 to 30 times. And that immediately brought up the antennas of every sane person around, like, well, what the F did you bring him here for then? Because that's what Derrick Henry does. That, like, he's a high volume, durable running back, and you're supposed to be a running team. So, like, the marriage made perfect sense to everyone from that simple notion. And you said, well, that's not what we brought him here for. And so that made me question, oh man, maybe John Harbaugh is losing and maybe it's time to move on. But like any good coach, you realize where you failed and you adjust. Because at the beginning, they had a lot of things dialed up for Lamar Jackson those first two games, and heavily profiled featured Lamar. And in this game, they have this game and the last game, Derrick Henry got 25 touches, and they win. They win when they give Lamar the ball 25 times. They win. That's the truth right now. Give Lamar the ball 25 times, you're going to win. And this doesn't, and what I'm about to say doesn't take away from the greatness of Lamar Jackson, but I think Lamar Jackson is the type of quarterback that needs something else to rely on. It can't be all on him. When it becomes, and I think that's just a thing for most quarterbacks. Like,
most quarterbacks. That's not like for example, Mark. I never seen it work when Ben Roethlisberger was throwing 45 times a game, and he's a future Hall of Famer, right? So there's no slight to Lamar when you say that.
Yeah, like he doesn't function well in those type of scenarios. He starts to make some mistakes. He's not very clear headed. He needs this. He needs Derrick Henry, and it's working out so far. They look the best they have ever looked this season, and it just so happened to be against the team who was 3-0. So now that team is 3-1. Shout out to the Ravens, man, because if you're going to look the best, you should look the best against a team that you more than likely will see in the playoffs. All right, let's see what Jay says here. He says it's hard to get a true read on any team with people not playing in preseason. The next quarter of the season, we'll see the true identity of these teams. That is very true. Which is very interesting because we thought that less preseason games would mean that we would see the actual offenses and defenses more in preseason. But that's not the result. The result is less preseason games. We're not seeing them at all. And it doesn't make sense because when we have 4 preseason games, preseason game 3 and 4, they practically played the whole game. Well, let me put it like this. Preseason game 3, preseason game 2, they played the first half. Preseason game 3, they practically played the whole game. And then preseason game 4, they played the backups and stuff.
Yeah.
But now they're just playing all backups, and these offenses and defenses that are starting are not getting the reps, and it looks awful. It makes for a terrible showing in the beginning weeks so far. Like some of these teams, like offensively, some of these teams are just not doing anything.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, just to piggyback off what y'all talking about now, man. Like week 4, week 5, and that's to me consistently since they changed the preseason to 3 games. That seems to be the magic number. Is week 4, week 5 is right around when the teams find their legs. You know, they find stability, they figure things out. So some teams did figure it out this week in week 4. I believe there's going to be a whole slew of teams that figure it out in week 5. And, you know, what's interesting about it, Mark, is I feel like some teams that look like they had things figured out in the very beginning don't look like they have things figured out now once other teams have caught up, Mark. And I know this topic says losers, winners, and pretenders, so I want to talk about some of these pretenders.
We're not there yet. Oh, well, yeah, it does. But yeah, good.
Do you want to? You ready or no?
Good.
The Saints. Let's talk about the Saints, man. The Saints have come crashing down to earth these last 2 weeks, Mark. But I also think it is a result of them doing a full camp. It's Derek Carr. Derek Carr ain't got the cachet to say I ain't coming to camp. You know, he ain't got the cachet to say that man's job was on the line going into the season, man. He ain't got that type of situation to where he can not play in preseason. You know what I'm saying? So you have a team like the Saints that did all that and looked better than everybody in week 1 and week 2. Let's be honest, Mark, they look unstoppable in the first. And then the following 2 weeks, you know, they look very pedestrian. They looked exactly how we thought that they would look, or we expected them to look before the season started. And right now, Mark, my question to you is, because I know who the offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator is, I think it's Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak, who was I think he was like assistant coach for the Niners last year. So they're doing things a little bit differently there. What do you contribute it to be coming from them looking like the best thing in the league to now looking like a bottom team in
Who? The
Saints.
Saints? Nah, I just attributed to that they did something that teams weren't expecting. When I watched those games, I was not expecting them to air it out like that.
No, I'm with you on that.
Like that's all it was that teams were expecting they came in with a game plan based on the way that the Saints have been playing, and then the Saints did the opposite of that and caught you with your pants down for 2 weeks straight. Just that simple.
The team paid attention and said it's not a fluke. Okay, because I was going to say, because even if you looked at it and said, okay, this is what they did last year. Oh, they got a new coordinator. Well, where does that coordinator come from? They come from the Shanahan tree. Well, when it comes to that, they don't air things out. Like they don't air shit out. So, I mean, and it's disingenuous to say they come from the Shanahan tree. But but they did spend a year with Shanahan. Maybe you're thinking, okay, it's going to be a lot of underneath yards after the catch type plays drawn up for these guys, right? And then next thing you know, you got Rashid Shaheed going over the top. Like, so I get that. I can see how that could have happened. So.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just that simple. But I mean, Falcons barely beat them, so.
Okay. Well, give me somebody who you think is an under the radar pretender. Somebody that might still be able to pull the wool over somebody's eyes. A team that people still think might be real.
Like, who do I think is a pretender that teams think is real? Let's look real quick.
That's a good one. I want you to dig into that.
Looks like you lost another one.
Oh, I can. That's easy. The Chiefs.
That's interesting.
The Chiefs are a pretender. They're going to go and I say that from the standpoint of, like their defense is still good, but their offense is not. Their offense is not good. Then they're winning games. They're 4-0. They're winning. But they've been playing poor teams and barely beat them. They barely beat the Chargers. The Chargers is not good. Mm-hmm. They're not. And you are struggling to get across that line, and now you lost Rashee Rice. Bro. Good luck. I don't know. I trust the Chiefs to figure it out, but right now, as is, they are a pretender.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I want you to bring up that comment from Jay. He said, I don't trust the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Right now, the Vikings is the team that I trust the most out of the NFC.
Easily.
I understand why somebody might look at the Vikings and say, you know what, I don't really trust it. I'm not sure about that.
Hold on. I gotta get back to this real quick because he said Chiefs still got 15 as long as he's playing a contender. Pull up 15 stats. 15 is like you and I are talking about Jalen Hurts right now. You said Jaden Daniels is better than Hurts, blah blah blah, on the Discord. That's fine. I don't really care. But the fact of the matter is, 15 stats are almost identical to Jalen Hurts' stats currently.
Yeah.
Almost identical. Jalen Hurts has more yards.
Guess who has more interceptions?
Yeah.
15 got more interceptions.
He has more interceptions than Hurts, too.
I'm going to be real with you. I watched these games, man. He should have 3 more interceptions.
Yeah, and 3 of them was called back already.
I'm just telling you what I've seen. He's throwing a lot of inexplicable He looks like he did in college right now. That's what I'm going to tell you, Mark. He's throwing some inexplicable into double coverage throws and all this other stuff. It just seems like whatever confidence in his teammates and in his offensive scheme that existed in the beginning of his career is no longer there, Mark, because it feels like he's going full Brett Favre right now, Mark. And that's what I'm seeing from Pat Mahomes is he sees that and says, I think because of my physical gifts, I can make that play, when he shouldn't even look at it at all. And that's why he got the interceptions he got. But no, 15 is not playing good right now. We're not gonna say that. Like, if 15 was in his bag,
Looks like you lost another one.
I would say so.
No, because, and Jay, this isn't about, and like I said, I already, like, because you went on to say, the defense is playing nice too, and this was the same conversation as last year. Look, I expect them to figure it out. I expect them to figure it out for two reasons. The NFL wants them to be in the conversation, and I expect them to figure out because they are good enough to do so. But it does not change the fact is that the 4-0 team that we are currently looking at is beatable. Like when you usually look at a 4-0 team, you like, yo, this is going to be a tough out. This game is going to be rough, and you like shaking your head thinking. But like right now, a team like Baltimore, a team even the Bills, they're looking at them like offensive, like their defenses are looking at them like, hey man, we could get Pat this time. Like those teams' defenses is looking at them like, we can get Pat this time. We can get him. Like, we just need our offense to put up points, but defense, we can hold them down. Like teams weren't really thinking that before, and now I know that that's what they're thinking.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna bring this up right now. At this point in the season last year, the Chiefs were 3-1. Pat Mahomes had 8 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Okay, and these are his yardages for those games: 226 week 1, 305 week 2, 272 week 3, and 203 week 4. He's not getting those yards. He doesn't have that TD to interception ratio. He's got 6 TDs, 5 interceptions this year. And we just told you, he looked like he should have 3 more. And versus last year, the 4 interceptions he had, you could put 3 of them on Kadarius Toney and other receivers, tossing balls up into the air. Those receivers were literally having catchable balls turn into interceptions last year. Let's not forget what the receiving situation looked like last year, right? And somehow he still has better stats this year, right? Or last year than he did this year. Pat Mahomes doesn't look like he did last year. You could say the team is, we had the same discussions last year, but Pat Mahomes' plays don't even look the same as it did last year. Okay.
Right. And his security blanket is looking a little tattered.
Yeah, it's
looking a little tattered because Kelsey ain't looking like Kelsey.
Yeah, but yeah, that's absolutely, man. Like, I'm glad we could clear that up for you, Jay. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here for, buddy. You know what I'm saying? You was going down the wrong path with it, and now we're here to steer you straight.
But yeah, man. But you were saying about the Vikings is that they look good right now. Like right now, I feel like, to piggyback on what you were saying about the Vikings, and then we're gonna get out of there. Sam Darnold is playing controlled ball. That he's not doing too much. Mm-hmm. He's not doing too much, and he is the perfect game manager right now.
Yeah.
Like that defense is rocking, and he is relying on Justin Jefferson when needed, and it is working out. And then you also have Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones looks like Aaron Jones.
He's doing what he's supposed to do. Real quick, and I want to make these 2 points because I saw somebody say I trust Brian Flores as a DC. I think that was Troy. It's more than just trust Flores. I've always trust Flores as a DC to some degree. What I'm trying to tell you is Flores is in his bag right now, right? Mark, there's not another defensive coordinator in the NFL right now outside of Spagnuolo that I can name off the top of my head that I watch their games and I say I like what they cooking up. And I'm trying to tell you that Brian Flores is so far ahead of every other defensive coordinator right now. It's not even funny. He's in his Flores is already a great defensive coordinator. He's in his bag right now. He's in his prime right now. And the stuff that he's cooking up, I don't think there's, like I said, I named 4 quarterbacks in the league that might be able to deal with that. And out of the 4 quarterbacks, only like 2 of them have an OC that's smart enough to figure it out. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Their defense. And then when you look at the offense, the reason why it's working so well, Sam Darnold right now is playing in a Kyle Shanahan style offense, which he was just in last year. And Kyle Shanahan was bragging about Sam Darnold looking good within the offense. Look, he felt confident about him, all that stuff. It could have been Shanahan just gassing, so I ain't paying no attention to it last year. But looking at the results of it this year, I'm a believer. I'm a believer that the system fits him. And I believe that's also part of the reason why he got up to a hot start is because he's already familiar. So once again, with those 2 things, I believe in the scheme on offense, and I believe in the scheme on defense, and I believe in everything else that's happening right now with the personnel. Like I just feel like the Vikings have it figured out, and the way that they're playing and the way that things are set up, teams aren't equipped to deal with it at all. So Vikings is right now they look like the best team in the NFL, not named the Ravens. And I believe them to at least believe in the consistency of the Vikings more than the Ravens right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they look good, and they're making me regret the fact that I drafted Tyreek Hill in our 1 league instead of Justin Jefferson. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But all right.
Well, think about this: the first 3 picks in fantasy this year, a lot of them in some of the leagues, you might have had
the first 3 picks were trash.
Yeah, like you CMC gone, Tyreek Hill not doing well. Like,
It looks like you lost another one.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Now it's time for the portion I guess some of you was waiting for or whatever.
I'm waiting for it. This is my favorite portion. You know what I'm saying? You got a hell of material today too. Come on, let's go.
All right, man. All right. This says, "Let me throw my 2 cents in." Eagles edition. All right. Eagles are currently 2-2. They took a massive L to the tune of 33-16. 33-16 to Tampa Bay. Yep, I was correct. 33-16 to Tampa Bay. Eagles have not defeated Tampa Bay in some years. Like, we have been consistently getting our doors blown off by Tampa Bay since that championship game. He says massive belt to ass. Okay.
hey, Commanders fans haven't been able to talk in a long time.
I know, right? Like, go ahead, man. Hey, your stadium is still a piece of shit, so whatever. How about that?
Hey, just funny, man. Look. Look, Todd Bowles, huh? Yeah, Todd got that fired. Hey, look. Talk your talk, man.
Hey, FedEx Stadium still smells like Kandahar. How about that?
He said it smelled like war in the Middle East, man. That's crazy. Go ahead.
Listen,
You know,
And for those that have
Zay
been in the military and been to Kandahar, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway, Eagles, back to them though. Eagles take a massive L, and they look awful. They look like they have come into this season exactly how they left last season. And what's funny about that is the fact is that I don't know what we were all expecting to be different. Well, I do know what we all were expecting to be different. We were expecting for Nick Sirianni to come in and let Kellen Moore run the offense. Let him do the things that he wants to do offensively, and it will work out better. A lot of people thought that the Eagles defense would be good. I'm not one of those people. I hope that the Eagles good defense would just be decent simply based off of the talent that's on it. But it seems as though a Fangio defense will always be a Fangio defense, and it will be terrible. It will give up a bunch of yards and be terrible. In this game, like, let me go ahead and get focused a
I
little
want
bit.
you to talk about it, Mark, because I don't want to bring it up.
Like,
I know you know the Baker Mayfield first half stats. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna. So now let me get focused a little bit because I just jumped several different things here, but I'm gonna get focused and talk about the defense in this, particularly this Tampa Bay game. In that first half, Baker Mayfield was able to sling the rock, getting the ball out in 2 seconds. Bam, bam, bam. Quick slant. Bam, bam, bam. Underneath. Everything is open, it seems like. And Baker Mayfield looks like he's a genius. But he's not a genius. He's not a genius. What he is the fact he's noticing, hey, just like every team notices, you guys are playing off and you're covering the back of the field. You don't want me to throw that deep, that's fine. I'll just take everything you're giving me and I'll get down the field that way. That has been how the Eagles got defeated every game so far. Like when they lost to the Falcons, that's how they got defeated. When they were playing the Packers and the Packers was able to put up a bunch of points and move the ball down the field, that's how they were able to move. Like the Falcons, like you saw that last drive, just taking everything underneath the safeties, and safeties playing way in the back, and just taking everything underneath. And then when they get in the red zone, you're going to play man in the red zone, and I'm just going to hit a double move on you and score. Like, I do not.
I was going to say, Chris showed up, waving the flag for Baker Mayfield like he hacksaw Jim Duggan. You know what I'm saying? I knew Chris was going to show up.
No, Jay, that is not NFL defense. Jay, that is not NFL defenses everywhere. NFL defenses everywhere do not play. Hey, let me back all the way up and just leave the middle of the field open.
Let me correct Jay one more time, because I'm going to do this. There's two things that just about every NFL defense does right now. Either you're a coordinator that dials up blitzes, right? You dial up a bunch of blitzes to try to get pressure, or you legitimately have a good enough pass rush, like as far as personnel-wise on your team, and you try to generate pressure with the front four, and you play man. Okay, and when you're playing man, right, you're not playing off. Okay,
right.
When you're playing man, you're still in position to make a tackle to the flats. You know what I'm saying? You're not just you're there for the tackle. They can catch it, but they did the tackle. Like, those are the two things that are going on right now with NFL defenses. Either you're blitzing or you're getting pressure with the front four, and you're playing some form of a mixture of zone and man on the back end.
The Eagles play a 3-4 and they play a version of a 3-4, and they're only rushing 4 at any given time. That's all they're rushing. They're not doing any blitzes whatsoever. They're not, and they wait until they are in the red zone before they play man. They don't like they are in zone until they get in the red zone, and so they're leaving all these holes throughout the middle of the field, and they're leaving 10-yard routes, they're leaving 5-yard routes, and these teams are taking advantage of it. And then there's even the 15-yard routes in the middle, and these teams are taking advantage of it, and that's going to be there all season. That has been there every single time. Anyone has employed Vic Fangio's defense here in Philadelphia. When we won the Super Bowl in 2017, obviously, Tom Brady put up 500 yards. That was a Vic Fangio style defense that was being ran at that time. And had we not played perfect offense, we would have lost. Good.
Mark, I don't know if you want to address this, because I will if you let me.
Go ahead.
Because Jay saying I'm talking about 2 high safety looks. A lot of teams running. That's a lot of teams are running that. That's why offensive numbers are down. There's a difference between running 2 high safeties the way the other teams run it, and 2 high safeties the way that the Eagles are running it. That's where the offensive numbers are down versus the Eagles, and I'm going to explain to you why. Look, I'm going to talk Madden terms here, Mark. Mm-hmm. Now, Jay, 2 high safeties could be cover 4. It could be cover 6. It could be cover 9. Or it could be cover 2. Let me just put it this way. From what I've seen from the Eagles, what they run is when they run 2 high safety, it looks like either cover 4 or it looks like a cover 2 shaded up.
Yeah.
In a cover 2 shaded up, you got cloud flats. As far as the cornerbacks playing coverage, they're playing cloud flats. They're dropping back before anything else. They're not staying put 5 yards deep. They're playing 10 yards deep and then coming down on anything that comes underneath. There's a difference. You could say 2 high safety. You could go 2 high safeties and play man. That's not what they're doing, okay? You could play 2 high safeties and have hard flats. That's not what they're doing, okay? Everything that they're doing is allowing at least 5 yards of open space. You could throw a 5-yard pass to the outside on the Eagles right now and catch it, and you'll have time to turn it upfield.
Yes.
I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. So, am I wrong, Mark?
No, you're not wrong, because you said you can catch that pass and have space to run. Now, because it's funny, because a lot of those yards that they had against the Eagles this past week were from after the catch, and that's because they were allowed space to start running and taking off. And when you're allowed space running and taking off, that also gives the opportunity of missed tackles. And guess what? The Eagles lead the league in missed tackles. And that's because there is a lot of open space in between the corner and the receiver in these situations. Like I just explained it, so I just explained that answer as you type it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're hip. Yeah, you have to attack. But this is the thing, man. You have it's not a secret that you have a poor tackling team. You figured that out last year within the same system. Like, when do you make an adjustment?
Well, let me ask you this. No, real quick.
Yeah.
Anyone. You put Chris Godwin, if you're playing 5 yards off of Chris, because I'm not going to kill Maddox and a whole bunch of other people for what's happening to a degree. If Chris Godwin is out there and it's 5 yards between him and the defender, and he has space to work, what's going to happen in a lot of those situations?
What should happen? What do you think is going to happen? Because I'm not expecting a tackle. I'm not expecting an open field tackle, Mark.
Yeah, like when it's a one-on-one between, like, he's going to give a good shift move and more than likely make that guy miss. Is something going to happen? If you're not up on him like that, there's a chance you're going to miss that tackle. Now, Vontae Maddox could have been better. These guys can be better. I'm not going to put it all on just the scheme, but when every player is missing tackles, when every player is not performing, at some point you have to be like, look, it can't be the whole defense. It has to be you.
At some point, you have to say, why isn't the coaching staff putting these guys in the best position to make plays? Right? And I'll be honest with you. You look at other defenses and other teams over the course of the history of the NFL. You look at the Steelers. You know what they said? Hey, Troy, you can roam. You know what teams did? Sean Taylor, Bob Sanders, they said we're gonna move you into the box because you're more effective there. Okay? I feel as though with the personnel that you have, the coaching staff is not putting the personnel that you have in the proper position for them to be the best versions of themselves.
Also, hey Jay, you said I mean, when you switch coordinators every year, where's the consistency? I can tell you where the consistency is. The consistency is that it's the same scheme. We could switch coaches every year. Sean Desai was forced to run a Fangio-style defense last year. Sean Desai doesn't run a Fangio-style defense, but he had to last year because that's what this GM wanted to see. And Jonathan Gannon ran a Fangio-style defense. The defensive coordinator before that ran a Fangio-style defense. We have been running a Fangio-style defense since Doug Peterson.
Yeah, I'm gonna enlighten you here, Jay. I wouldn't say it's a new trend, but I will say is this: it's something that the Niners been doing as well. Since Kyle Shanahan has been the head coach of the 49ers, he has been running a Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom style defense. Have we ever had the personnel to do that, Mark? Never. Definitely not at cornerback, right?
Right.
Which is part of the reason why it's iffy at times, and it's the reason why we get smoked at times, because we don't have the personnel on the outside that can play like that. But it also is why Fred Warner is allowed to roam and just be a menace the same way that Bobby Wagner was when he was with the Seahawks. We've been running this Seahawks defense since Kyle Shanahan has been there. They're talking about 5-6 years. It doesn't matter what defensive coordinator we get, Mark, because guess what? Kyle Shanahan is saying this is the defense that you're running. It's the defense that we asked Wilkes to run last year.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not going to change. The Eagles are doing the same thing here. So guess what happens? Sometimes the DC can run that defense, and sometimes they can't. But none of that matters if the personnel don't fit the defense, and that's the issue. With the Niners, our personnel fits the defense except for the cornerbacks. But that's also why, even when we're not having a great defensive year like this year, we're still good.
And in this particular case, the defensive scheme is trash. They just think because of analytics that it's good. Well, it had its day in the sun, and that day has passed. It's no longer a viable defense. Just because you brought in Vic Fangio himself this year doesn't change anything. Vic Fangio himself last year with the Miami Dolphins made that defense trash. Vic Fangio himself, he was an advisor when we played the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and we saw how that defense got torn to shreds in the second half of that game. Now, Jay, you say so. Now, how we got to go? Welcome to the conversation. Thank you.
Hey, we've been talking about this for how many years, Mark?
I'm glad you are here. Welcome to the conversation, Jay. Listen, I know that you're new to watching, but this has been my bugaboo for many years. Howard Roseman is an excellent GM if it comes to acquiring talent and working the books. He is when it comes to being an accountant and figuring out how to make getting a particular player work. He is amazing. When it comes to just about every other part of the job, not very good. Like up until the last 2 or 3 years, his drafting has been egregiously bad. Like, do you remember some of the drafts? JJ Whiteside, Jalen Reagor, like Derek Barnett. Like, just keep going back. Like, it's egregiously bad for many years. And then
this just in, Mark. Sorry, he said. Chris said, "Shout out to Jalen Reagor." Jalen Reagor, leading up to the game in Week 3 for the Patriots, got cut. The man posted a picture on Instagram. Chris, I'm talking directly to you for bringing him up. He's posted a picture on Instagram of a Bugatti in a carport in what looked to be a rundown shack
trailer
house,
park.
Okay. They cut him 2 hours after he posted the picture, my friend. Okay, that's Jalen Reagor. He thinks he's a Bugatti. Okay, look, man, I can't believe y'all drafted that man, Mark. I'm not gonna hold you. Y'all should have had Justin Jefferson on your team right now. He said, I hope you realized he was the trailer.
But yeah, so.
Yeah.
But back to Howard Roseman, man. Like, this dude, he's not good at the other things. And also, we hit lightning in 2017, and he thought that since then he was everything. And I want you to, if you look at the parallels between Nick Sirianni and Doug Peterson, Doug Peterson left this team and because he did not feel as though he had any control over this team. He was not allowed to pick his coordinators. He was not, the coordinators that was there, he wasn't allowed to make any choices and pick them. And he decided, I'm just gonna bounce. I'm gonna leave. And that's exactly what he did. And now,
yeah, I'm just gonna let that.
Oh, okay. I'm like, anyway. And then after that, now look at Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni not allowed to pick his coordinators. Kellen Moore was forced on him. Vic Fangio was forced on him. And now you have a situation where Nick Sirianni does not feel as though he has any control over the team. So he is enforcing some sort of control over the team by interfering in the offensive play calling. Like, he is Kellen Moore, who is known for a whole bunch of pre-snap motion and all that stuff, like where his offenses have been in the top 5 of pre-snap motion in the past. They are 19 right now. They are currently 19 in the league in pre-snap motion.
Like, let's forget about them just being the top 5 of pre-snap motion.
No, but like that should just.
Well, yes, no. Okay. Well, let me just add this in. If I'm not mistaken, he's been somewhere top 5, top 10 offenses in the league since he's been a coordinator.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but I'm also saying that to just point out that now being 19 shows that this isn't Kellen Moore calling these plays. Like, this is not his baby calling those plays. And then you also have Nick Sirianni saying, "Yeah, I will take over and call plays here and there, or whatever, blah blah blah." And it's like, dude, why are you doing that? Maybe you shouldn't do that. But here's the perspective that a lot of us aren't thinking of, is that from the human perspective, he is the head coach. He wants to be a part of this team. He don't want to just stand there and be and just be holding the clipboard. He wants to have some sort of control, and he is pulling and tugging and fighting for some sort of control. And the only reason why he was kept around in the first place is because no other head coach really is going to stand for what Howard Roseman wants to do. No other head coach is going to let Howard Roseman pick his offensive coordinator, pick his defensive coordinator, and and him not have any say in what the player personnel is really.
Yeah, there's only one patient man that I've seen deal with that for years on end, and that's Sean Garrett.
Yeah,
I don't know how he did it, but not everybody's Sean Garrett. There's only one Sean Garrett, Mark. There's only one person that can stand on the sideline, and because they ain't got nothing else better to do, they can sit there and clap. But also, I you know what? I'll give Sean Garrett more credit than that, because he did not lose his play calling until, speaking of the devil, Kellen Moore got brought up. Okay?
Yeah.
But before that, Sean Garrett was the play caller. So I can give it, maybe that's why he was able to withstand that long, because it was everything that you just named, except for the fact that he could call plays. Took away his play calling for 2 years, the man left, okay? He's out of there. So, with that said, you're absolutely right. I don't know what they expect him to do. Like, I can blame Sirianni for a lot of things, Mark, right? I can't fully 100% blame him for stepping in and calling plays, because essentially what you're saying is, okay, we don't want you, number one, let's be very clear about this. You're running a Fangio style defense. Fangio's in the building. You're not stepping on that. He created this shit. You can't step in on defensive play calling. Number one, it's not even an option. Number two, you're an offensive guy, right? They have Kellen Moore in there. Do they want you stepping in? Absolutely not. But guess what? That's the only, like you said, that's the only place he has control. Only place that he has an option to do something like that ain't gonna get him fired. Okay. But it's looking like if he continues the way he's going, it is gonna get him fired, Mark.
Listen, I would love to bring back that Jimmy Johnson defense, but there is only one student of the Jimmy Johnson defense left, and guess what? He is coaching the Buffalo Bills. He's the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott is the last great white of the Jimmy Johnson defense.
Yeah. So, he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, Bills ain't letting him go.
You think they interrupted that quarterback coach combo? But they McDermott's staying, bro. He's not going nowhere, man. So absolutely, you're right, Mark. But yeah, no, that's all. Like, Sirianni, it's everything. I feel like everything has to come to a head at the end of the season, Mark.
Yeah. The biggest thing that needs to come to a head is the questions need to start going towards Howard Roseman, and because the same toxic environment is prevailing. Hey, man.
Hey, I'm glad you understand. I think you said welcome to the conversation, Mark. I think now he's come to the same conclusion, okay?
Not like the same toxic environment is prevailing, no matter whether or not it was Doug Peterson, whether it's Nick Sirianni, whether it's Carson Wentz, whether it's Jalen Hurts. Like, it's interesting that Jalen Hurts, who is the consummate professional, is now like starting to buck against things that are being said. Like you're starting to get a peek into to a little bit like, hey, the robot is malfunctioning. The robot might be
human. Robot no more.
Yeah, like
on emotion.
Yeah, like the robot might be human because like Nick Sirianni said something, and he was like, they asked him a question like, hey, do you guys talk, or like you guys have a meeting, whatever, about? He was like, we have our moments, and like basically saying like I don't really talk to that dude. When I sparingly, like basically, he might as well said I talked to that dude sparingly.
Do you have meetings with the head coach? Everybody knows how important the head coach quarterback relationship is. And the answer is we have our moments. That's wild, Mark. Yeah, look, man. Like I said, it's funny that you said the robot's not roboting. Look, man, the robot is starting to show enough emotion to where Will Smith don't trust him. Like, that's the point that we in, dog. Will Smith said, I don't trust it, dog.
Yeah.
They say they can't think for themselves.
Like
But,
seriously, like it's getting bad. It's getting different. I mean, we talked about that Eagles thing, and I appreciate the questions for Jay, but we talked about that a little bit too long. But the thing is, man, the Eagles can recover. They can recover because even in this dysfunction, if Nick Sirianni was to truly take a step back and call in these plays, Devonta Smith comes back, AJ Brown comes back. Someone needs to sit down with Jalen Hurts and just ask him, "Do you enjoy football still?" Because it does, like, his regression looks like it's coming from a place of forcing it when he plays. Like,
yeah, like passion.
He's forcing the game instead of letting the game come to him, instead of playing his game. And
nothing looks natural. Nothing looks natural anymore
at all.
Where it used to look natural.
And I think I think the Eagles can recover, but is it likely? I don't know. But I did not expect it to look this. I expected to see something special between Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore, and with everything that they had, and we're not getting that, and it's all because of a toxic environment, and they need to sit down and work that toxic environment out. Yeah, and if they figure out how to say, "Hey, let me just get out the way," like that means Howard Roseman get out the way. That means Nick Sirianni being able to get out the way and just coach on the field, then they have a chance. But their chance only goes but so far because that defense is still terrible.
Yeah, and I'll say this, man. Kellen Moore has as many weapons as he had in Dallas. He didn't have weapons like this.
Right.
He had Saquon, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. He didn't have weapons like this in Dallas, man. And then when you talk about offensive line, you could say it's a push right now with Kelsey not being on the team, or you could even say you can give the edge to the Eagles because they actually have a healthy O-line. I don't know, but either way, he's never had this type of weaponry before, and somehow his numbers have plummeted as an offensive coordinator. So you know what it is, man. They're stepping on him a little bit too much, and for your sake, Mark, I hope that Kellen Moore gets back control of the steering wheel.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, let's move on, because there's a potential trades going on, and I hate to bust your bubble, Jay, but Davante Adams, more than likely, because he is one of those top premier players, I'm pretty sure he has a trade clause in his contract. And I guarantee you, sir, he does not want to go to the Commanders.
Yeah, I'm willing to, just real quick, I'm willing to bet he does have it specifically because of the reason why he went there. Went there to play with Derek Carr. I'm assuming he put a no trade clause, in his shit. So I'm gonna look that up while you're talking.
But yeah, I guarantee you, sir, he don't want to go to the Commanders. The reason, and like I said in the Discord, he's older. He not trying to teach a rookie quarterback how to, like, what the rookie quarterback should be looking for, this, that, and the third. You see what DJ Moore and Kellen, you see what DJ Moore is going through. Like, he's ready to punch Caleb Williams in the face because he's like, "Doug, I expect certain things. I'm not trying to deal with this." And you see Davante Adams is one of those personalities. Like, I don't know if you watch receivers, but Davante Adams, he has ran out of patience for quarterbacks. He only at this point wants to go to a place where he knows for sure this quarterback is going to live up to what I expect. And regardless of what JD has shown so far, it doesn't change the fact that I want somebody that is going to absolutely live up to what I expect. Like, so Jets, going back to Aaron Rodgers, if he could find a way to the Bills, if he could find a way to the Chiefs, but he ain't going to the Commanders because he, as talented as that rookie may be, he's still a rookie, and he don't got the. And Devontae Adams, after dealing with Jimmy G and dealing with Gardner Minshew, he is out of patience.
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell too. Like he done. You watch wide receiver, man. He's done, man. But Mark,
he's out of patience. He don't got the patience for it. It's nothing against Aiden Daniels.
Whatever patience he had, Jimmy G squeezed that right up out of him, man. So, real quick. Yeah, bookmark it. But do whatever you want with it. Okay, let me explain to you something, Mark. So I looked it up. He does not have a no trade clause in his contract. But let's be very clear, because they were shopping him towards the end of they were shopping him last year as well, or considering trading him. They tried to shop him in the offseason, Mark. I found an old article from July where there was, they were talking about him being shopped, and he basically said, somebody asked him whether or not he would go back to the Jets, like a reunion with Aaron Rodgers, and he said, his response was, let me put it like this: if I have to get reunited with somebody, it would be Aaron Rodgers. So I think what he's saying by that is, I ain't going to the Saints to get reunited with Derrick. Right? That's very clear. He's only played with two quarterbacks, that are starters in this league. That are for sure starters in this league. In it's Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers. So he's saying he would be willing to go play with Aaron Rodgers. I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have a no trade clause. The hell that's going to get raised if you try to trade him to the Patriots. Okay, the hell that's going to get raised if you try to trade him somewhere he doesn't want to go. It's not going to matter that he doesn't have the no trade clause. He's big enough to do it.
Yeah. Now I will say this though: the no trade, him not having that trade clause, it makes it possible for the Commanders. It makes it possible, but it makes it possible. It makes it possible for any team. It makes it possible for him to go to any team. I mean, it makes it possible for a swap between Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams. As far as like going Cleveland to the Raiders, like that makes it possible because Devontae Adams wants out, and there's a rumor mill about Amari Cooper being shopped around. So
here's I got a possible destination for you, since we've kind of pretty much understood what's not going to happen more than likely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's another possible destination that you probably haven't thought of. Cincinnati Bengals. T. Higgins wants out? That's cool. You want a contract? That's also cool. I'm sure the Raiders are willing to pay you. Okay? Would Devontae want to go play with Joe Burrow? I think he respects him enough to say that's a certain yes. He would go there and play and be on the other side of Jamar Chase. I think he would like that scenario a lot. If you're talking about,
I don't think Jamar Chase likes that scenario.
Oh, Jamar Chase absolutely don't like that scenario. But what I'm trying to say here is, he's either going to go to a championship contender, Mark, or he's going to go somewhere where he respects the quarterback. And I just feel like when you talk about the respect of the quarterback, that's limited choices. And when you talk about championship contenders, that's also limited choices. And let's be very clear, the way that teams operate these days, if they're already a championship contender, and even if they have the cap space, Mark, the championship contender teams, from what I've seen, don't really like changing. They don't like acquiring people that are going to upset the balance of things within a locker room. Like, I don't see the Lions going and getting Devontae Adams, right? I don't see them saying we're going to bring him in and try to fit him in here and change what we do. They like everything they're doing with Jameson Williams. They like everything they're doing with Amon-Ra. Like, they wouldn't want to disrupt that, So I think the list of teams that he might go to is very short. But I do think the Bengals, to me, in my mind, would be probably the best spot. or most likely?
But yeah, I don't know, man. I see him going. I see Adams going to 3 places. Like I said, I see him possibly going to the Bills. I see him possibly going to the Chiefs, and I see him going to
Jets.
Yeah, I see him going to the Jets. But we'll see. Like, because part of that is the Raiders feeling as though they have been made whole in moving him, and I don't know what the Bills have as far as assets go. I don't know what whatchamacallit the Chiefs have as far as assets go. Hell, he may even end up in Denver because Cortland Sutton is getting old, and Denver has a lot of assets right now, like because of moving on from Russell Wilson.
Fits that he's going to throw.
Oh, he might end up in
quarterback only throws for 66 yards, Mark.
he might end up in Pittsburgh. Like, I don't know.
Pittsburgh actually sounds like a great landing spot. I know I said the Bengals would be. I still think the Bengals would be a better situation, but I think Pittsburgh is a very viable situation.
Hey, he might end up with the Seahawks. Like, who knows?
I like Geno Smith better than I like Justin
I can tell you where he's not going to be though.
You're not. Why Washington? Why are you picking on Washington? I feel like there's bias going on in here. Look, Jaden Daniels. You know what I'm saying? All right.
It's nothing against Jaden Daniels. This has nothing to do with Jaden Daniels. This has everything to do with Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, he doesn't want that. Like,
no. I'm going to say it has something to do with Jaden Daniels, Mark.
Why? You can't speak for me. It doesn't.
I'm going to explain right now.
You can't speak for me
right now, and I don't want to come off disrespectful, but I feel like I need to put the Commanders fans back in their place. They're getting a little too big for their britches right now, Mark. Jaden Daniels that didn't have a passing touchdown for 2 weeks. Jaden Daniels that threw for 184, 226, 254, 233. With credit, for this season compared to other quarterbacks, that's decent, I guess. Look, man, Jaden Daniels he has the highest completion percentage in the league right now, and I get that. But he's only completing about 20 passes. I'm not even going to say 20 passes per game. That's the most that he's completed so far, is 20 passes. What in the world do you think? I just want to know what you think Devontae Adams, how he would adjust to that, knowing that Devontae Adams gets targeted 13 to 15 times a game, and that's what he's used to. I want to know. I think he would have a lot of love for Jaden Daniels, but I'm not saying that Jaden Daniels is bad. I'm just saying I don't think he wants to end up on a team where they throw the ball 23 times a game. That's my thoughts, and that's fair, right?
It seems fair to me. I don't ask.
I don't think he wants to watch the quarterback run 16 times. that's just hey, if that man got to go out there and block for 16 plays, if the quarterback is taking off, I don't think that's what he wants to do.
Like I said, it feels fair to me, but hey, man, look,
the catches and targets. Look, man, that's why he want to leave. You think he's trying to go to the same shit? He said, how many catches does he have this year and targets? You understand why he's leaving? Why he wants to leave, right? All right, then.
All right, so look, man, but Amari Cooper, though, he's the other person that's available, that's being talked about, and Amari Cooper is, man, I would love to see him in a Chiefs uniform. I think he would be the perfect addition for the Chiefs, being able to being able to play the outside and be a possession guy as well as playing the outside. I think that would be the perfect place for him.
You know what I think he would end up being? I think he would end up being what Sammy Watkins was supposed to be for the Chiefs. And it's somebody who could take you deep, but then also still catch the intermediate.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right, Mark.
Like I think he would be the perfect addition for the Chiefs, man. Like I actually want that to happen, but like I said, Chiefs has a lot of money out there. Like they have a lot of money out there. I don't know what their cap situation is like, so I don't know if they can take that on. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure they would find a way.
Yeah. I'm sure the NFL will find a way for them if they really wanted to.
You think they're going to be sending them anonymous faxes? Hey, man, you know, if you were to restructure this contract and do, you think they sending them tips to the mail? What you think?
I'm pretty sure that they will. That like if the Chiefs wanted them, the NFL would make it happen.
That's crazy, man.
But all right,
we get here, Mark. How did the Chiefs become worse than the Patriots? Patriots was doing their dirt. The NFL was not condoning it, but they did look the other way. You telling me that the NFL is just straight up in cahoots with the Chiefs? That's wild.
Yeah, man. Like straight up, like
just straight up. Like it is what it is.
Like I mean, they all like Doug. Every week. People are asking, and like, mind you, I have been saying this whole time, and you've been lockstep with me. But people have been asking every time they see Rasheed Rice catch a pass, they're like, "Why the fuck isn't he in jail?" I saw it on video. Like, I watched him commit the crime on video. Like, why is he not in jail? Like, it's a wild. Like, it does not compute to the everyday person that Rasheed Rice is out there catching footballs, and we all watched it on video. Him cause a multi-car accident and then run away.
Yeah, like while possibly intoxicated. You know, it's what was crazy is people. It's like, oh man, you don't know anything. It's like, no, these are legit pictures from earlier in that day of him going to like a baby shower for like his sister's kid, and he's drinking here. He's wearing the same exact outfit, and they married.
And this is the car.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I don't know, man. Like, that looks like him. The evidence is stacking up against you, boy. They got that shit was crazy. When they found the post, I was like, oh man, that's crazy.
Like the fact, like yo, it had to have been anybody else, they would have been gone. Like, but him, they was like, we'll wait to the trial. Like, what? Yeah. What?
Hey, Mark, hey, let that have been Jacoby Myers for the Raiders. Buddy would be in jail right now. Like, he wouldn't even be suspended. He'd be in jail, Mark. It wouldn't be.
Like, do you know how fast the Raiders had to let go of what's his name?
Oh, yeah. Riggs. Henry Ruggs.
Yeah. Like,
hey, really quickly, bro. He was done for, man. Look, I'm just saying, like, he definitely, if it was anybody else, they would have been unemployed. You guys, we're sitting here talking about a suspension, Mark. If it was anybody else, they'd be unemployed.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Like, come on now. We're not doing this. But let's get into some other stuff, man. All right. This is going to be a quick one, and you guys are getting a lot out of us. I know Troy is happy about this. But all right, man. WNBA attendance falls off a cliff. The Caitlin Clark effect. Doug, here's the thing. This is supposed to be a longer topic. But we have spent a lot of time on football and other stuff. So I don't. But here's the thing, man. I've thought about this all day, Sean, and I realized what Caitlin Clark is. If you guys haven't been paying attention, or if you don't watch Nick Wright, I don't blame you. But Nick Wright has made a comment that made the most sense to me out of anything I've ever heard. Nick Wright said Caitlin Clark is like, people don't want to give her credit because it feels oddly racist, like when you watch her supporters, and like there's a whole thing to it, and we'll put that up on our page so you can watch it, because it's about 5 minutes long and it's too long for us to show it here. But we'll put it up on our page so you can watch what Nick Wright was saying. But Nick Wright made it make a whole lot of sense. And but the Caitlin Clark effect is crazy because attendance across all WNBA for the most part was up while Caitlin Clark was playing, and especially if she was in the building, everybody was there to watch.
Yeah.
Now that Caitlin Clark isn't there, like, empty seats everywhere. Like, it's like almost like people are boycotting simply because, like, how dare she not be in the playoffs? And now they're boycotting. It's very weird.
Yeah. It's, you know what's funny, man? You know what? It's interesting that there are so many white WNBA players before her that were great. Because I know some people are trying, like, the general consensus is, hey man, she's white and that's why she's getting all the support, blah, blah, blah. That's why there's so many great white players before her. Somebody could easily say, well, why hasn't this person got that level of attention? Why hasn't that? Listen, outside of the gameplay part, when you look at Paige Beckers, right? You look at Cameron Brink, right? And you look at what's the name? Kelsey Plum. There's something about the difference between them and Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the epitome of, I don't want to say the epitome of white, because that's gonna sound crazy, Mark. She's so swagless, Mark, that I feel like a lot of these racist white folks that are completely swagless as well, they relate to her. They see her and say, she is a plain Jane, everyday white girl. And that's the difference. Kelsey Plum has swag. Cameron Brink has swag. They look at them and they don't really see themselves in them. They see white girls that are playing in the WNBA that look like they belong there. Caitlin Clark does not look like she belongs there, and that's why they gravitate towards her. She does not look athletic at all. She does not, like you said, she's everything that the WNBA currently is not. Okay? She's straight. You don't need to get deeper than that. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. All that. It's everything that she's not a feminist. Like, everything about it is what the WNBA is not. And everything about it is things that, the prototypical white racist person relates to. When you talk about conservative beliefs politically, quote unquote Christian beliefs, and I say quote unquote for a reason, but all of those things is part of it. But yes, I agree with Nick Wright. Something about it just feels like you're supporting racists. So, so I get the reason why. No, she's not the female Bird. She's not the female Bird. Now, you can say that. Bird had swag. Bird was talking crazy to people on the court. Bird had the respect of all the black players around him. What she is is a more talented. She is a more talented Christian leader. Okay, is what she is. Okay. I don't know. I wish I had a better analogy.
Well, here's the thing. I have an analogy for you. Because, and this, when you guys go watch it back, you can, when you go watch what Nick Wright said back, then you will understand what I'm about to say now. The reaction that people are having, like that common WNBA fan and the regular fans of basketball are having, like the adverse reaction that they're having to Caitlin Clark, like what's her name?
Who? Not Agent Wilson.
No, the person that's getting a lot of flack for like downplaying.
Swoops.
For like Swoops and all them. The adverse reaction that they're having to Caitlin Clark. Here's the perfect analogy. Caitlin Clark is Eminem.
That's a better one. I like that. I like it.
Caitlin Clark is Eminem.
Undeniable talent.
Like she has the talent to be recognized as one of the tops in this space. Like she will go on possibly to be one of the tops in this space. But people will downplay it because the other side only, like, they don't really like hip hop. They only like her for one particular reason. They only like Eminem for one particular reason, not because they're fans of hip hop, but it is that guy that is, I can say he's the best and keep saying he's the best and he's one of the tops, and just because he's not like the rest of you. There's something different about him than the rest of you, and he's more like me to a degree.
Yes, he's in the black space.
Yeah, and it's like, for some people, it is that idea of a white person dominating a quote unquote black space.
Yes, and
that's what they are looking for. And that's what they want. And so it causes the regular hip hop fan to be like, look, I don't even, like, you may think Eminem can rap and you might be able to tolerate him, but those type of fans makes you hate him.
Yeah.
Those type of fans makes you like want nothing to do with him.
I can't stand Eminem fans.
Yeah, like so that's what's happening with Caitlin Clark. The type of fans that just want to see her dominate a quote unquote black space. Now you have Cheryl Swoop wanting to downplay it. You have everybody else wanting to downplay it because of those type of fans.
Yeah. Well, it just drives. It gets to a point to where people either unconsciously try to restore a balance, and sometimes it's consciously. Like for example, I'll be honest with you, man. Watching all the Cheryl Swoop stuff, I don't think she's consciously doing this, Mark. I think this is an unconscious reaction to the fan base, like you said, to where it's just like she's not waking up in the morning and saying, "I'm here to restore balance."
Right.
But I think as soon as the conversation comes up, that's her immediate reaction.
Right.
Is that, you know what I'm saying? She can't sit back and watch people kiss her ass, and it's like, yo, like I can't, like, nah, I have to say something and I have to correct it, and the only way to correct it is to go the opposite way. You know, and yeah, but I do feel like there are other people that are consciously going against it, right? But with that said, I like the Eminem analogy specifically because if Eminem was a dope country artist, he would not get the amount of attention that he gets as being a dope rap artist.
Right.
The same way that if Caitlin Clark was if the WNBA was a mostly white space, the way that the NHL is, she would not be as popular as she is right now. It has race has everything. The race relations in America have everything to do with it. The race relations within sports has everything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Would she still be popular? Absolutely. Would she be as popular as she is now? No.
Yeah.
Very simple. She might be Adele.
It looks like you lost another one.
You know?
Hey, Sean, and if you can you post that on the page, the Nick Wright?
Yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, I got you.
All right, so that post will be up shortly on the eye test page, so you guys can see exactly what Nick Wright had to say in his comments. All right, but let's get into it. Let's get into this NBA stuff. Now that NBA movement ahead of the season. Just very quickly, man. Karl Anthony Towns went to the Knicks. That's the big one. The other stuff that happened was earlier, like CP3 to the Spurs, Russ to the Nuggets. Those are like some of the major moves. But Cat to the Knicks and sending Julius Randle to the Timberwolves along with DiVincenzo didn't make a lot of sense to me at first. And I still don't think it will work. But I hear that DiVincenzo was not happy with his with the possibility of having a diminished role within the Knicks team with the addition of Mikal Bridges, even though it is bringing back the Villanova boys. Yeah. The addition of Mikal Bridges would leave him being the short man out, and he didn't like the idea of that. So it's being said that he made some noise about it, and that is why they moved on from him. Because at first I was saying I don't like Cat on the Knicks, but I especially don't like Cat on the Knicks, and you gave up DiVincenzo because you lost that bench piece that can come onto the court and have immediate chemistry with whoever is out.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to add to that what you're saying about DiVincenzo. It's hard to find guys that are willing to embrace that role, that are actually good at it.
Right.
The role of coming off the bench and being that guy. So it's very important. Yeah.
Right. So now when they had that and then they lost it, I was like, that don't make sense. But if DiVincenzo was saying, I don't want to do that, now it makes a little bit more sense. But if it makes a little bit more sense to be like, all right, man, then we'll just move some things around and you could be a part of this trade or whatever. Cool. But here's the thing. I still don't think Cat is the guy for this team. I think too many teams want to go finesse. Too many teams want to do if you have finesse guys, you need somebody that can play on the inside. You need somebody that's willing to bang around and get the board. Somebody that is a mid player, and you got a center that is a 3-point shooter or that wants to be a 3-point shooter. How does that work?
But my guess is they're going to try to put him on the court.
Hey, real quick, man, if this broadcast ends for you guys on Facebook, go to YouTube.
Yeah, so real quick, man, this is my thing. I think they're going to try to play him at both power forward. They're going to try to play him at the 4 and 5. Yeah. Look, this is what I'll say, man. If we're talking about basketball, X's and O's, right? In there's two things that I think are very noteworthy to mention about the Karl Anthony Towns shit. Like, I agree with you. All the X's and O's stuff you're talking about, them not having it looked better when they thought with the thought of having a bench guy that could come out and give you that energy, give you the points, and mesh with whoever, right? It also sounded good, you know. It sounds good not having that weak link, the guys. You have a bunch of tough guys, and it sounds good not having a soft guy mixed in with that, especially if they're big. But forget about all that, Mark. Two things I'm concerned about that we're always concerned about with Cat. He is soft. He is emotional. Okay, how is that going to affect the team chemistry on the court? But also, I'm really more concerned with the fact that he's going to be in New York and he has to do with New York media every day. If you thought that Cat was mentally weak in Minnesota, where nobody's bothering him, Mark, what is he going to look like in New York, where they're bothering him every single day?
Oh, dog, he in that arena, he is going to hear the word flag a lot. And remove the L.
Yeah. He
remove the L, and he's gonna hear the word flag a lot.
They gonna be on his skull, Mark. And I'm gonna be honest with you, he gonna be like, "Oh man, these fans are crazy." The media is going to kill him, Mark. Dog, you're going to a city. You're talking about a gritty city in general, but you're also talking about a city that had Pat Ewing. I say a lot of bad things about Pat Ewing, Mark. Okay? And Pat Ewing is 20 times tougher than Cat will ever be. Okay? There's things that you can't. They still mad at Pat Ewing for the finger roll instead of dunking in that playoff game versus the Heat. Let me tell you, man. He can't be soft in New York as a big man. It's not gonna happen, Mark. My question to you then, since we kind of both agree, we don't think he's mentally tough enough he's not mentally tough enough or equipped to deal with the New York media with the way that he plays the game of basketball. At what point in the season, how many games into the season do you think we see it manifest itself on the court? Like, when do you see him mentally break down?
I don't know, man. I don't know at all.
Do you think it's gonna happen?
I don't break down on the court. No.
When I say mentally break down, what I mean is him either crawl into a shell in the middle of a game, shut down, or him start to, now he's arguing with the refs for everything, throwing his fists like he's known to do. How long before that happens?
10,
10 games? I was gonna say 5. You're being more courteous than I was gonna say 5 games, but maybe it takes I just don't think the New York crowd takes that long to warm up. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Spike Lee gonna have a whole lot of words for him. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
yo, bro, it's going to be a problem out there for them. I don't know.
It's just not. I don't see how this works.
I don't see this working. And Jay, thank you for mentioning this. Jay said, and he's a harder matchup for Philly and Boston. No, he's not.
How?
He's not. He does.
What's
like, here's the thing. When it comes to Philly, Joel Embiid is only afraid of one center, and that is Jokic in Denver. That's the only person he's afraid of, is playing Jokic in Denver. Everybody else is food for the most part.
Let's be honest. Everybody else, you know what? I like watching him play against the other so-called great centers. You know why? Because he goes out of his way, Mark, to make a statement. I like the new Joel Embiid. I like the Joel Embiid that says, I'm going to drop 50 on anybody that thinks they're a good center not named Jokic. Do you see that Cat Williams not on that list? Do you know the history between Cat Williams? Let's say Cat Williams. Do you know the history between Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid? He gets up for those games, okay? It is not going to change. It is not going to change, man. I'm calling it now. Embiid drops 40, a minimum of 40 on Cat the first time they see him. I'm just saying it now. And let's be honest, the reason why he fears Jokic is because Jokic is one of the only ones, or no, I'm not going to say one of them. He is the only center in today's game, outside of himself, that can kill you in the post and out on the perimeter.
Yeah.
He's the outside of himself in Joel Embiid. Jokic is the only one that can do that. That's why he fears Jokic.
Yeah,
and apparently it's only when it's in Denver.
And when it comes to look, I will say this, and I want to wrap it up from here because I want to get into our way too early predictions before we head out of here. Cat, I understand the Knicks possibly wanting to move on from Julius Randle because of, at this point, it's starting to seem like he's a little injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. Wanting to move on from Julius Randle and get some value out of it, I understand. But the Cat move, it sounds exciting. It just will not work. Randle is a more physical and a more up for the challenge and fight guy than Cat is. Cat is finesse. Randle is not. Randle is not finesse. And you need a guy that's not finesse when you have the other guys that are around him. You need a team of balance. And right now now that you have Cat, it's unbalanced. Too much finesse on the team. It's too much finesse now. You don't have that guy. And but I understand them. I understand the idea of wanting to move on from Randle simply due to the fact that his availability sucks.
You losing a dog in DiVincenzo, man. I just want to point that out. You losing a dog, man. And
I get it.
Return.
Yeah. I get it. You said this move was more for Brunson and him having the ball more in his team, in his hands. It's his team now, and I understand that. I understand the thought process behind that, but also, and I don't know what the conversation is, because I don't know how the conversation ended when they said, "Hey, man, we want to do this with Brunson, this is how, what that looks like for you, Julius, moving forward." He could have been like, nah, F that. He don't want to be down for that. And then it was like, okay, we got to move you. I have no idea what that conversation was. You know what I mean? Because it could have been the same type of conversation that happened between Shaq and the Lakers when they was like, look, we're moving to being more center focused on Kobe, and Shaq said F that, and then he left. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been that type of situation. Who knows? I have no idea. But I will say that the Knicks are worse for this regardless.
Yeah. So I only have a really quick response for Jay's comment about it's about putting the ball in Brunson's hand more and trying to make it more his team. Cool. At what cost? That's my question for you. At what cost? Because to me, I think the price of admission is too expensive.
All right. So now we're going to get into, you know what? Before we do our way too early predictions, I want to do this because this will be fast, man.
Yeah.
All right. It's that obligatory time of year, when everybody is ready.
Where Troy?
Everybody is ready. You see the gym videos. You see him talking. You see what's his name? What's the the famous basketball trainer Chris Price or Chris Prickly or some shit, whatever.
Brickley, yeah.
Yeah. Like you see Chris Prickly talking about, oh, he's ready, he's on point. You see everybody talking about it. Ben Simmons, man. So let's get into it. What's the over under, man? Everybody talks about it every year, and then yet somehow Ben Simmons doesn't live up.
Here we go, Mark. First off, I'm going to start off by saying, look, we've seen footage of him at Drew League. We've seen footage of him running at Rex. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that. We've seen him knocking down a 3-point. We've seen him pulling up, doing jumpers. We've seen the mixtapes, man. I don't know if there's a player that has a better offseason mixtape than Ben Simmons. Maybe Carmelo Anthony. Maybe Hoodie Carmelo Anthony. Ray Hoodie Melo. But I don't know, man. He ain't got as much footage as Ben Simmons when it comes to the off-season basketball stuff, right? This is the first year that we've seen somebody like Chris Brickley come out. I'm waiting for Lethal Shooter to come out and be like, yo, this is the year, right? And there's a couple like Chris Brickley come out and he's putting a stamp on it, Mark. I don't know, man. This might be the year for Ben Simmons. Over under 5 games. Over under 5 games, Mark. That's what I got for you. 5. It'll be better than last year, but over under 5 games.
All right, for me, I got him at 20.
Woo, boy. Hey, so you like that? You like that stamp? You like the Brickley stamp?
20 games, man. Hey, man.
Well, Mark.
Well, you know, we are playing Price's Right rules. If I'm over, I lose.
Yeah.
So if he can play 19 games and I'm one off,
yeah,
I'm over. So I lose.
Yeah. So real quick, I would like to say this, man. If you're in the comment section, please comment whatever your over under is. But let me give you this piece of information before you make your bets, okay? Mm-hmm. Because I was like, you know what would be fun? Let me see what Vegas has to say about this. Maybe Vegas has odds out there. They got odds for everything, man. They got odds for how many hot dogs is going to get eaten in the Nathan's hot dog competition every year. They got odds for that. They got odds for everything. You know what happened when I looked up odds for over/under Ben Simmons games played this year? Not only did they not have odds for that, audience, but they legit didn't have any player prop odds for Ben Simmons at all. It popped up and it said, hey man, unfortunately, there are no player props bets available for Ben Simmons at all at this time. Please check back at a later date. It's not a good sign, Mark. It's not a good sign for your 20. If Vegas said we don't even got regular any player prop bets for Ben Simmons, it's not a good look, Mark.
That's crazy.
Could be right, but I'm just saying, Vegas, they ain't got nothing set up for him. Do with that information what you will, folks.
Hey man, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. I don't know, but like I said, me 20. I got him at 20. He hasn't played in 2 years, Sean. He can at least give me 20 games, dog. He can at least give me 20 games.
He should be able to play from the beginning, from game 1 all the way through a 7-game series in the NBA Finals. Is what he should be able to give you, Mark. Now, what he will give you is something totally different.
Dog, the biggest fleecer in the NBA ever.
Bro, they're going to make a documentary about this. Mark my words. I'm waiting for the 30 for 30 for this to drop.
What's the baseball player's name that every year when he get paid?
Oh, Bobby Bonilla. Yeah.
Yo, the Bobby Bonilla day. Like, this is hands down crazier that, like, his contract and the way he fleeced is easily crazier than that.
That man playing Call of Duty talking about his back hurts and his feelings are hurt. And that man ain't played the game since. I'm just telling you, like, hey, man.
Wow. It's insane. But all right, man, let's go ahead and get into our final part. Way too early predictions. NBA edition.
Yeah.
All right, man. My way too early prediction for the NBA is that, just very quickly, I think that the Denver Nuggets will be in the NBA. They will be in the Western Conference Final.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds about right to me. I'm gonna tell you who I think. Damn, this sounds terrible. To tell you who I think will also be there.
Very quickly, I just want to answer this. Ain't no way in hell, dog. Ain't no way in hell. I promise you, they make the playoffs. This is my way too early prediction for the Lakers. They make the playoffs. They might be one and done, but they will make the playoffs. And now, mind you, I mean like 7 or 8. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to be one of the absolute teams in the playoffs. I mean, they're going to be that bottom tier that's going to have to play that thorny shit at the for the season.
Oh, they're going to be in a play-in. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, they're going to be in play-in.
Are you insinuating they got a deal with Adam Silver the same way that the Chiefs got a deal with?
Here's the thing. It is the Lakers. It is the Lakers and LeBron James.
Let's be clear. I'm not even gonna. I want to be very clear. It's not just LeBron James and Bronny. It's also JJ Redick. Hey, look, man. Everything about this whole situation, they have to save face, Mark. They can't have them not make the playoffs.
Dog, it is the face of the league in the player and the face of the league in the team. Like, let's just face it. The Lakers are the face of the league when it comes to the team of the NBA. There's two teams that you could consider the face of the league. Lakers or Boston. One of them. Like, it's a push between Lakers or Boston. Which one you want to call is the face of the league. But it's the Lakers and LeBron James. LeBron James is on the face of the league team. He is the face of the league player. There is no way they let that team with that combination miss the playoffs.
Oh, they can't wait to say first father-son combo to make the playoffs together. They can't wait to say it, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
They can't wait to say the first father-son combo for everything, bro. Look, if they're the first father and son combo to play on the team together, Mark, we don't need all the other father-son combo stats. We don't need them, do we? But they're gonna say them anyway, Mark. I'm with you on this. You know what? I can see this happening, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready for a season of even more Lakers and LeBron talk than we've ever seen in the history of Lakers and LeBron. I'm not ready for that, Mark. I don't want to see that. I know it's coming. I know you're right. I'm just not ready. I'm not meant to prepare for that. But you're right. They're gonna make the playoffs some way, somehow, by leading the league in free throw attempts again. I don't know how it's gonna happen, Mark, but it's gonna happen. Just for those that think that we're just having fun and we're exaggerating. You know what I saw this morning, Mark? I saw a post-practice interview with LeBron James and Bronny James.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a post-practice interview make headlines, Mark? I didn't even know they did post-practice interviews.
Well, I think today was media day, so
I don't care if it's media day. You know what's crazy, Mark? I didn't even know that the NBA had a media day until now. If that's true, what you're saying, I didn't know until just this moment right now. this is my point, Mark. They're already starting, man. I watched a minute and a half of LeBron and Bronny going back and forth. Nobody asked them any questions. It was just Bron and Bronny talking about practice, and Bronny saying, "Oh, I stepped out of bounds, but he fouled me. Oh, he did this. He got away with fouling me on this, and oh, yeah, he's going to get those calls because he's a vet, and LeBron making fun of him because he's a rookie." I watched them go back and forth for a minute and a half, Mark, with nobody asking them any fucking questions. Okay, it's already starting. We getting post-practice interviews with them. It's the only one I've seen so far this year is just with Bron and Bronny. I'm just saying, just buckle up, Mark. Buckle up. Strap in.
Man. I don't need to, man. I already know what it is.
But buckle up and strap in. But what I wanted to say is this. They've done this Jokic thing so many times. And the Embiid thing, they finally gave him his. This is what I'm going to say for my prediction. Two things. I think this is the year that they finally fully pushed Luka.
Say that again?
This is the year they finally fully pushed Luka. I'm saying Luka MVP, and I'm saying Luka in the Western Conference Finals.
No.
Why you say no? Why you say no, Mark?
Luka's too lazy for that.
I'm trying to say, I think you understand what I'm saying.
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm saying that they will try to do that. He will not hold up his end.
Well, this is what I'll say. I don't even think he needs to play better than he did last season.
He doesn't, but
he's at minimum to play what he did last season.
But no, like what I'm saying is that, like,
are you talking about the playoff to the Western Conference Final?
I'm talking the playoff to the Western Conference Final part. I'm even talking about the MVP thing. Like Doug, it requires a certain amount of it does require a certain amount of discipline, like, to do that, like to like even when it's rigged in your favor, to do that, like, it requires a certain level of consistency in play, and like, he will play great because it's Luka, but like Luka playing great is Luka waking up in the morning, putting on a pair of shoes, and then just going to do it. Like, it's not like there's no effort behind it. Yeah. Like, it's just Luka being Luka. Like, in order to win MVP, you have to put some level of effort behind it, and he's not going to.
What I'm saying is, it's just a perfect storm. Number one, I don't think Embiid will be healthy enough for a complete season to get.
Well, he's down 25 pounds. Apparently.
He is. I don't pay attention to those things. Okay, keep it down to 25 pounds during the season, right? No, kudos to him for losing that. Keep it down to 25 pounds during the season. Go to Denver during the season. I need to see more things than just him losing the weight. I like the fact that he lost the weight, Mark. I just don't know. Like, he showed me too many patterns of laziness for me to believe fully that it means more, that it means as much as it would for somebody else. Now, with that said, like I said, for him, it's health. Embiid gets it. If Embiid plays 82, he gets it. Because at this point, I think the NBA is at the point where they have to give it to somebody, where they'll feel like they have to give it to somebody other than Jokic.
I think
so. I think it goes to somebody not named Jokic, and if Embiid is healthy, he gets it. But if Embiid gets hurt,
It looks like you lost another one.
I don't think they just give it to Jokic. I think they give it to Luka.
My dark horse is Jaylen Brown.
I can see that. Now that's something I can see. They'll have the record. You know they'll have the record. You know what I'm saying? And that would be the easy pick. Now with that said,
but here's the thing: the only issue with that is that Nike don't mess with them, And
gonna say something.
and the NBA wants the NBA and Nike in their relationship want to keep it nice.
I was going to tell you that the NBA likes Jason Tatum more than Brown, and I think if they give Brown an MVP, it damages that. It damages their person that they want to eventually become the face of the league, and I don't think the NBA would do that to themselves. Now, but like I said, Luka. People forget what Luka's numbers were last year. I don't have them in front of me, Mark, but I know this. He's averaging like 33 points a game, like 12 assists. Like if he put, what I'm trying to say is, if he averages 33, 12, and 5, 23, 12, and 7, like he did last year, then he can come out there and not be consistent. He can come out there and not put effort. If those are his numbers, Mark, and B gets hurt, it's between him and Jokic. I think they just give it to Luka. I think this is a situation. This is a Steve Nash MVP year, is what I'm saying. They don't want to give it to Kobe. They don't want to give it to Shaq, or they can't give it to Shaq, right? You know, but they don't want to give it to Kobe. That's what it smells like to me. So. Maybe I'm wrong on my prediction, but that's why it's a way too early prediction, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get into let's start to get to the end of this, man.
Yeah,
we
man.
We talk about the players, we talk about all that stuff. Let's talk. We talked Western Conference Final. Let's talk NBA championship. Pick me a winner and pick me the participants.
Participants. I see. Well, West, I see Denver against the field. Just that is West. Denver against the field.
Yeah.
And East, I got Boston Bucks. Boston coming out on top.
Yeah, you know what? I can see that, man. I like your pick of Boston Bucks. I don't think the Pacers are going to get back to where they got to. I just don't believe in the Pacers. I don't
believe in the Knicks. I don't
believe in the Knicks either. Not with this team.
I think that they are a great constructed team, but I think at the end of the day I thought they were a great constructed team.
Yeah. And
at the end of the day, I do not think Cat will work out in the long run, and they are also just the Knicks. So
exactly. So because the Knicks I don't trust, because I think Indiana will drop off, and because I think Miami is at the point where they've plateaued, they need another guy.
Yeah, Miami needs to break it up. That's all.
They do. They need to break some of it up. They don't need, I think the people that...
I think they need to break the whole thing up. No. There's two guys that I would keep.
Give me and Van.
Legitimately...
Everybody else can go.
Now, here's the thing. Legitimately, that's what should have happened.
Well, that should have happened years ago.
No, Nick should have went after Bam.
That would have been...
The Knicks should have went after Bam.
Yeah.
That would have been a much better fit, in my opinion, than...
I agree that would be a better fit.
Than Cat.
And I think, I'll be honest with you, DiVincenzo and Randall, I think they fit what Miami likes to do.
Yeah, I think that would have got it done. I think that would have... Nick should have went after Bam. And you probably wouldn't even had to give up both. You probably would have had to give up one.
But like I said, I like that trade. If that trade was to happen instead, I would have liked that trade for both parties, man. But like I said, I don't trust them. Maybe by default the Bucks end up going. I mean, let's be honest. It would either be the Bucks or the Sixers, and the Sixers, everything hinges on Embiid's health, and I don't trust that. So.
Yo, just on a real quick, I'm sorry, I just had this thought.
Go ahead.
But the idea of if I got traded, like just from a financial standpoint, if I got traded from like from a financial and environmental standpoint. If I got traded from Miami to the fucking Knicks, I would retire.
Hey, that's funny. He said financially and environment. Like, let's be honest. If you went from Miami to anywhere, you'd probably be like, just let's be very clear. You'd be upset. But specifically Miami to New York, it's such a crazy look. It's such a crazy drastic change, bro. Like, imagine seeing Miami chicks every day,
Sunny,
and then going to New York and dealing with New York chicks every day.
No, I'm not even worried about the women. Just sunny days, blue skies, beaches, and now you going into gray, snow, rain, skyscrapers.
I'm starting there because everything else is right behind it. You just described the weather. Let's talk about the smell. Let's talk about the smell that you're gonna get.
Ain't no way, bro.
Like this is the price, the cost of living. Like, you talked about money, forget about the taxes. Let's talk about the cost of living. Mark, everything, like, it's just everything under the sun. Everything under the sun is every box that you could possibly have that needs to be checked. You'd be like, yeah, these are all the reasons why, these are all the things that I would never want to experience in any of my work locations. And New York checks every single one of those boxes.
Exactly.
You got to deal with media. You got to deal with everything, bro. Like, you're just gonna be a miserable being.
It ain't. There's not a world. Oh my god, bro.
One more thing, we forgetting. Then you got to go to work for tips, bro. I don't care what you think you're doing.
Going from Spolstra to Tibbs, nasty work.
I don't care what you think you did in that Miami practice, boy. You're gonna do double that with Tibbs, and you playing 48 minutes a game. What's really good, man, Mark? You just gonna be an overall just upset, miserable human being, bro. Like, you know what? You brought up a very good point. There's no way I can do it.
I would fucking retire. Like, fuck it, I'm out.
If you never thought about retirement, it would come up very quickly. Man, now you got
like, all right, man.
That you on the sideline, bro. Like, you're getting called all kind of unimaginable things by your fans. Like, bro, you got people showing up to your building to drop 60. The only place to get traded to worse, or maybe on the same level, would be Boston. Oh yeah, the racism hits hard in Boston, what I heard. So, but yeah, in Boston it's just as gloom and doom. Like, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I feel you on that. But New York, Miami to New York, that sounds like it would be PTSD. You would develop some form of PTSD, man. You probably have to go see a therapist. But yeah, I know we got way off the reservation, but I just wanted to throw in this. For the championship game, I have Boston in Denver, only because that was supposed to happen this past year, and Denver didn't pull it off because of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I just feel like that's what the NBA wants to see, Mark. The NBA wants Jokic back in the finals, and everybody knows how much they've been waiting for Boston to become what they are.
Yeah.
But Boston is actually that. So, like, Boston's making it no which way about it. Boston's making it now. I want to see what kind of bullshit they pull for Denver if they get a hot water. But Denver, I have Denver going as well. Yeah. Boston wins, by the way.
All right. So look, man, that's all we got for you guys. Thank you for sticking around. This was a long ass episode. Did not intend that, but it is what it is. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. And as always, remember, it's only entertainment. By that, I mean that these things are not sports leagues. It's not a sports business. It is a sports entertainment business. Mm-hmm. And you should always remember that when placing your bets or when watching these games. Just think to yourself, what is the outlook that best suits the NFL or the NBA, and move accordingly and bet accordingly. With that being said, we appreciate you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys for sticking with us. We appreciate you guys for hitting that like button and that share button and telling your friends about us. And we will continue to appreciate you even more if you show up next Tuesday. But yeah. We're out. Peace.
Yep. Peace.